Mr. Speaker, I note in the development program provisions are made for the purchase and refurbishment of vehicles in the fire service. Mr. Speaker, I also see the construction of Sandy Grande and Couva fire stations, improvement works of fire service buildings. And I am advised, Mr. Speaker, as we talk about infrastructure, there is one company getting most of the contracts to do work in the fire service, Mr. Speaker. And it reminds me of SIS, we keep hearing about SIS. But when I heard about this, it reminded me of that. The minister needs to look into this, because I also understand that that same company has divided itself and has different names, doing almost everything. But all the money goes back to one company. I understand this company caters food, is involved in automobiles, in building and maintenance, you name it. I understand the same company also refurbished the Chief Fire Officer's office. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, many contractors attached to the fire service for a number of years have had their contracts terminated within 2 months of the appointment of the acting Chief Fire Officer taking up his position. Mr. Speaker, I can provide names of some of these contractors actually to the Minister of National Security. And then what else can we expect from persons in authority when the government operated and continues to operate in like manner? Mr. Speaker, many fire officers are complaining that they lack basic amenities such as uniforms and boots. And as I say boots, I remember hearing the Minister of National Security talking about putting back on his boots. But before he does, I will hope he will ensure that members of the fire service have boots to put on.
Corporal Griffith.
Mr. Speaker, I would like the Minister to check out the promotion system within the fire service. Many persons have expressed dissatisfaction with this system. With regards to the upgrade and expansion of the physical facilities of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, I must say again that I see no provision for the rebuilding and relocating of the Belmont Fire Station, which is situated by the mortuary. Mr. Speaker, I would like an update on the rebuilding of the fire service headquarters. Every year, provision is made for this upgrading, so I would like to know what is the status, because if we keep looking back at the budget, we see that there's money provided for refurbishing the headquarters, but nothing seems to be happening. I am aware that the engineering department needs more space to operate at the headquarters. But Mr. Speaker, I go back again to an incident that took place on November the 17th, 2012, where a vehicle belonging to the fire service, costing $2,236,038, at least it was bought for that price, went off the road in Blanchisseuse. And Mr. Speaker, I have in my hand the invoice. We keep talking about 6.8 million. We keep talking about 6.8 million, but there's an invoice which was originally put forward to the Ministry of National Security of over $10 million. Okay, this is the actual invoice that went to the Ministry of National Security. $10 million. I have the invoice here, $10,189,115. And this is the original I'm seeing. I understand they didn't even take a half day to move the fire truck. But yes, there is a bill here for meals costing $65,000. $65,000. Hygienic facilities. Hygienic facilities, well, I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's, bathrooms or what. But, they didn't take more than a day. And yet, the hygienic facilities is also $65,000. Speaker, supply of equipment, $7,539,000. Manpower, $303,000. Transportation of workers. Well, I don't know where these workers came from. They must fly them in.
How much is that?
100,000.
How many workers?
Well, I don't know. Just transportation of workers. 100,000. They had to. I don't know where they came from. Right? And this is the information on the invoice. And I am saying, Mr. Speaker, we have, government officials here. This kind of expenditure, the ministers must know what is happening. So nobody peruse a document. You just send it to be paid. I mean, I don't understand this. Because I would want to know what meals cost $65,000. Where these workers came from, transport $100,000. Where did they come from? They flew them in from somewhere. Right? And $10,189,000, and this is what was first presented to be paid. $10 million of taxpayers' money, Mr. Speaker. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Regardless of what who it came, where it came from. Right? At the end of the day, the buck stops at the minister. At the end of the day, the buck stops at the minister. And the member for W Mirror, you continue to say the chief fire officer, but I will explain something to you in a little while here. Okay? Mr. Speaker, the chief fire officer, Mr. Carl Williams, was ridiculed in the public domain by the member of parliament for W Mirror and the Attorney General. And Mr. Speaker, we must not treat our public servants like that. This is a man who spent 39 years in the fire service and served with distinction. And government officials should not tarnish his good name and tell the world that he is responsible for the fire truck fiasco. Mr. Speaker, I understand that the past Minister of National Security later admitted that he was responsible for making the arrangements for the wrecking of the fire truck. And why it is that they continue to try to blame a public official. The past Minister of National Security admitted that he made the arrangements. He did. All right? Long after the chief fire officer was vilified by the AG and the member for W Mirror, then he admitted that he made the arrangements. And I call on the member for W Mirror to apologize, and the Attorney General to apologize to the chief fire officer for the embarrassment and the pains that they caused him. Mr. Speaker, as a matter of fact, the chief officer was offered jobs based on his skills and experience as a chief officer. And of course, when these allegations were flying left, right, and center, these job offers were rescinded. Okay? Mr. Speaker, how unfair could this be to this gentleman? And do you know what? Do you know what happened, Member of Parliament? The Minister of National Security, after this took place, the then Minister of National Security, after the fire truck went over, he installed the fire chief that he will make the arrangements to do it.
Remember, it's 15 meters down,
okay? He told the fire chief he will make the arrangements concerning the wrecking of the vehicle. At the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, if you are a government official, many persons will not stand up to the minister. So if the minister come and say, well, all right, I will make the arrangements to get it done, I will contact the people and they will send you the bill. A lot of people just go ahead, all right? At the end of the day, what happens? I mean, the government has a history of victimizing people. People are afraid. They are afraid, and that is the truth. And this is not the environment that we should harness at all. Okay? So, Mr. Speaker, where in the world can a minister of government usurp the authority of a head of a protective service to negotiate the services of a contractor? Okay, and this is exactly what took place. The minister took over, all right? And this is really unfair, because when you look at all of the newspaper clippings, for example, the AG stated, where is Carl Williams? Newsday, Friday, June 28th, to give the public the impression that the man is somewhere hiding. I mean, we should not be doing these things to people. That is so unfair, all right? A lot of things happen, but we should not be doing this to persons. And don't be, say, the first thing that came out of the mouths of government officials is the chief fire officer fault. No, we have to get the facts first. Okay? Mr. Speaker, I'm seeing the same infrastructural works taking place in the prison service year after year, and I would like to know if they have hired snails to do this work. Mr. Speaker, when will the nursery at the women's prison be completed? When will the officers' mess be completed, Mr. Speaker? When will the visitors' room be completed in the prison service? When will the ration room be completed? Every year I am seeing money being allocated for the construction of these facilities in the prison service, and nothing seems to be happening. We would like to know what is the plan for Carrera prison facility, because I am seeing that upgrade work was done on the facility, and yet I am hearing that the facility is was supposed to be done to be condemned or to be given to somebody else. But I would just like the government to know that the prison service would like to retain the use of Carrera prison. Their basic problem is that they need transport, and that they, to and from the prison, they need a vessel to transport the officers and inmates, a proper vessel. I haven't seen any allocation for a prison vessel, which I know is of utmost importance. And many prison officers were trained to man the boats, so Mr. Speaker, they can man their own boats. And it should be noted that many of the prisoners who are at Carrera are high risk and are serving life sentences. The surroundings of the Carrera facility should have proper security. Mr. Speaker, the remand facility at Golden Grove still needs to be refurbished. Will this happen in this financial year? This facility was built for 300 prisoners, and I understand it now holds 1,200 prisoners. This cannot be safe for either officers or prisoners. The prison service is in need of modern security equipment. Health and safety issues need to be addressed urgently, and there must be a swift approach to modernizing the prison, because we pay a lot of focus on the police service, but this prison service is also a crime-fighting organization, and we definitely have to pay more attention to the prison service. And what is the present status of the Prison Officers Training Academy, which was earmarked to be built in Golden Grove? Mr. Speaker, and we are still waiting the prison rules, which were completed in 2010, and it is time to bring this legislation to the House, which will seek to have the prison measure up to international standards in terms of correctional facilities. Houses for prison officers. Where is the member of Oropouche from Oropouche East? The Prison Officers Association stated that they have been writing the member for Oropouche East, the Minister of Housing, for a meeting because they are in need of homes for prison officers, and to date that meeting has not taken place. What is the status of the new People's Partnership Prison in Santa Rosa, which was built for the people of East Port-of-Spain? I would like to get a status on that prison. Mr. Speaker, there are serious water problems at Carrera Prison, and I would like to know what the government is doing about that. And more attention, of course, I said, must be paid to the prison service. I'd like to know how much time I have. How much time I have?
Oh, you have just about 5 minutes.
Okay. Not 5 minutes, Mr. Speaker? Okay, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I just want to talk about my constituency. I stand in this House today because of the overwhelming support I have received from the constituents of Laventille East Morvant. And Mr. Speaker, this government has been starving constituencies of vital resources because of the notion that these constituencies did not vote for them. And I must say, I remember clearly the member for Mayaro and Chaguanas West making statements to the effect that, people who don't vote for the UNC and so on will suffer. I didn't believe that they were serious, but it is serious because it is happening, Mr. Speaker. Many of them mamagayu, making promises which they are not fulfilling. Others do not even acknowledge your requests. I mean, a blind man can see, Mr. Speaker, that this government is taking care of their constituencies and ignoring the PNM-dominated constituencies. Mr. Speaker, at the end of the day, they pretend that they care, right? They pretend that they care and that they love Laventille and Morvant, just because they want your votes. And as I said most of them. I didn't say all of them, because one person who, when I call on, would try is the member for Sawa Barataria, the Minister of Health. Mr. Speaker, yes, you do. Mr. Speaker, their true intentions have been unmasked, because they want now to show the people of Laventille East Morvant they love them, and they all of a sudden you love Laventille and so on because they want votes. But you should have been showing Laventille you love them for the past 3 years. All right? That is the point, and that is why you should have been helping. Okay? In what way?